What's going on, guys? I want to show you some stats from this week. This is a Apex funded account, PA account, and one way that I keep things extremely realistic and extremely obtainable, no matter your level of experience, is just to slow down and actually, not worry about the dollar amount. So many people are going to look at the P&L and they're going to say, well, I can do that in a day. I can do that in one trade. Sure, you can, but a lot of times when you're trading funded accounts, you're trading evaluations, you're trading for these prop firms, you're actually oversizing. So in my best, analysis, a lot of times traders are trying to, let's say, you're trying to one up where you actually need to be, meaning you're trying to tack on a bunch of gains early and then hopefully, like, okay, I'm going to get to payout. Versus for me, let's look at this week's stats. So you can see here this week, the week of 5/11/2025 through 5/17/2025, gross P&L is $1,000. Now I get it. I've traded 2 or 3 mini contracts, taken a couple trades, made $1,000 in a day, right? Sometimes you do it in a trade. This is spread out over the course of 5 days. And the reason being is a lot of the times I like to, slow things down, especially when market conditions are starting to change, especially when volatility is a little bit higher. I like to get into trading those micro contracts. And realistically, the way that I treat my funded accounts is if I can make $1,000 a week, right? And right now I currently have 13 funded accounts. But let's just do the math because I'm a very, very simple person and I like and enjoy simple math. If you can do $1,000 a week, right, very modestly, that's $4,000 a month, okay, theoretically speaking. Of course, you're going to run into losing days. Of course, you're going to have red days, but let's just, again, keep things simple. $1,000 a week is $4,000 a month across one account. If you start copy trading 2 accounts, it now becomes $2,000 every single week. It start becoming $8,000 a month. Let's say, for example, someone has 10 accounts and you do numbers like this where you make $1,000 in a week. That's $10,000 a week. Guys, you're talking about potentially extracting $40,000 out of the markets. Now, I get it. You're not going to be able to withdraw the entire things. Each prop firm has their own specific set of rules on how much you can withdraw, how much you can withdraw per pay period, per, what your account balance is, so forth and so forth. But let's just say you can take out half. That's a $20,000 month. Okay, let's just say you take out 25-35%. You're looking at $5,000 to $10,000 a month across 10 accounts doing these simple numbers right here. Okay, let's get into the actual number of trades. 35 trades. Again, I am a scalper. I'm generally looking between 10 and 20 points on the NASDAQ 100. Average trade time is 1 minute 14 seconds. The longest trade that I was in was 6 minutes this week, but I'm operating at an 80% win rate. Now, here's something that is very critical, and I think a lot of people need to understand. When you're a scalper that operates at a much higher win rate, one thing that you absolutely must avoid is blow up days where you run into the 20% of losing trades. You've got to walk away. You cannot sit there and say, okay, I just took a $100 loss, for example. I'm going to get it back and I'm going to double my size. You turn a $100 loss into a $500 loss. That's where you start, going down that slippery slope. What I tell everyone is this: if you operate at an 80% win rate, you understand out of every 10 trades, you're going to hit at least 2 to 3 losers. If you can keep those losers small and continue to just focus on the next trade and focus on the process, you're eventually going to eat up those losses and you're going to go back into the green and your equity curve is going to continue to grow. Losing trades, we've taken 7 losing trades out of 35. Largest losing trade is $117. So you can see here, we're not giving up a whole lot when we're wrong. It's identify the setup based on your strategy, on your model, whatever it is that you're trading, execute on that setup. And if it works, great, take your profits. Never be afraid to take profits. Don't assume that the move is going to continue to go in your favor. And if it's wrong, immediately cut it. Okay. Average losing trade is $55. Average winning trade here is $52. Largest winning trade was $315. Had a little bit of a runner there. Found some good momentum on that. I think I actually boosted up my number of micro contracts. This is trading about 5-6 micro contracts at this time. Standard deviation winning trade is $68. So again, you can take that for what it's worth. Again, the numbers are going to be a little skewed because of this big winning trade here, 315, I like to stick to this average winning trade. For me personally, I'm looking to take, 3, 4, 5 setups a day. If I can make $50 a trade, quote unquote, right, based on the average, based on the numbers, then for every 3 or 4 winning trades that I make, we're talking about $150, $200. And that's where I like to keep the sweet spot on these funded accounts. For one, it keeps me a lot more calm. 2, it's a lot more sustainable. And 3, if I do run into a losing trade and I have 2 back-to-back losing trades of, let's say, $60 here and $80 here, I could take one more trade and maybe gain a little bit back. But if I lose that third trade, I got to walk away on a day. Now, based on my strategy, the probabilities of me running into 3 losing trades in a row is about 4 to 5%. So it's not going to happen a lot over a series of, let's say, 100 trades. I do have to be prepared for it because there's always a potential and the probability that it happens. Again, the odds of me running into 2 losing trades back to back is far greater than 4 to 5%. It's closer to like 10, it's closer to like 15, 20% that the odds you're going to run into 2 losing trades back to back will happen. But the thing is this, a lot of times if I'm using the same 1 or 2 entry setups, the same 1 or 2 models, and I take 2 losing trades back to back, I tell myself automatically the price action today is not corresponding with my setup. It's better to just wait for another day. So instead of telling myself, let me take more trades to crawl back, let me take more trades to get back to even, I walk away. Because I know that for every day, and if you kind of look at the average winning trade and average losing trade, my risk to reward, I base it a lot of times on a day-by-day basis. I don't tell myself, okay, I need a 4R winning trade, a 3R winning trade, and I'm only going to risk 0.5 or 1R, right? What I do with risk to reward is if I average, $150 to $300 a day on the winning side, I want to keep my losses between 150 and 300 on the losing side. That's a 1-to-1. So when I get back on track and the strategy starts to work, again, and the price action starts to correspond with my entry models, I know that it only takes 1 day to get me right back to where I was. And that second day, third day, fourth day afterwards, I'm going to go back into the green. It's when you get your brain all jumbled and mumbled up where you can't accept the losing trade. You can't accept that your strategy is going to run into 2 or even 3 losing trades in a row, and then you let everything go and you start blowing it up. This is a perfect approach. If you're on evaluation stage, the numbers are not big. However, if you just operate 75 to 85% win rate, keep it right in between that sweet spot, walk away on your losing days, stack up your small base hits, at $1,000 a week, you'll pass any evaluation, 50K evaluation, in 3 weeks. Might be 2 weeks if you run into a couple of good days in there, but I'll just say 3 weeks. Within 3 weeks time, if you're copy trading, let's say 10 evaluations, you're going to pass and get into 10 funded accounts within a matter of 3 weeks. But the thing is you've got to slow down, right? You've got to take your time. You can't rush this process. Again, there's traders, and I have strategies and I have ways to trade where I'll throw on 3 to 5 mini contracts on a news candle, 3 to 5 mini contracts on a previous day high break, look to target 15, 16, 17 points and try to pass in one go. That's fine if that's in your business plan. Now, everyone's pockets are a little bit different. Maybe you go out there and you buy 2 or 3 evaluations and you try to trade them as close to 1-to-1 as possible on how you're going to trade them in a live funded account. Then I think go the route where it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 weeks to pass. If you have a little bit bigger of a bankroll and you're going to say, let's throw $500 at a bunch of evaluations this month, then by all means, I would go out there and try to trade your same setups just on much larger size, right? To where you can pass these in 3, 4, 5 trades in 1, 2, or 3 days, because the whole goal is to get into the funded stage. Again, you have to understand that not every trader is the same and not every trader has the same goals. Some traders want to take a much slower approach. Maybe their pockets are a little bit thinner, and other traders want to just, go a little bit more heavier. They have a little bit stronger appetite for risk where they're going to trade, more aggressively. That route is also possible and doable as well. I just want to remind you that when you get into the funded stage, you don't want to do what you did to past evaluations if you were trading 2, 3, 4 mini contracts. A lot of times you can find a setup, put on a trade setup, make 1,000, make 2,000, make $500 very, very quickly. But when you get to the funded stage, you run into that one losing trade, everything goes off the rails, and next thing you know, you're not only are you out the cost for the evaluation, you're out the cost for the activation fee, and you're out of a funded account. Take a much slower approach, and I think you're going to do a lot better. This is something that we try to focus on inside of Evolution Traders. If you guys want to join the room in the community, that link is down in the description box below. Also, make sure to give me a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment, let me know how you guys approach your funded accounts when you get into them. I always like hearing how people manage their accounts as well, so let's start a discussion down there. And again, guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We're over 10,000 subscribers. I highly appreciate each and every single one of you, but I'll see all of you guys on the next video.